With their last 3 full seasons all being 105 plus loss seasons, the Orioles were the very worst team in the league. For one, their pitching was just horrible, having an average team ERA of 5.53 over the last 3 years, by far the worst ERA in the league. What definitely didn't help was, surprisingly, the dimensions of the park itself. Every NBA court is 94 feet long by 50 feet wide, and every NFL field is 120 by 53 1/3 yards. Yet, the unique thing about baseball is that every stadium, for better or for worse, has different dimensions, meaning certain balls are home runs in some parks, yet easy outs in others. 3081's project's Lou Spirito beautifully created this diagram, showing all the dimensions of all the parks overlaid on each other. Some of the most famous examples of differences in dimensions include Fenway's Green Monster, the Short Porch in Yankee Stadium, and the Giants' Triples Alley, until it recently underwent some shortening due to bullpen reconstruction. Which brings up an interesting way a team can gain an advantage that many people probably never considered. Namely, when teams remodel their stadiums, they can also adjust the dimensions of the field, affecting the results of balls hit that way. You see, the Orioles play at Camden Yards, a park famous for being hitter-friendly. Park Factors attempts to quantify how a park affects the game based on the elevation of the park, its dimensions, and the rates of hits, home runs, etc. 100 is average, and every point above 100 is a percent better for the batter, where every point lower than 100 is a percent better for the pitcher. This year, Coors Field leads the league in park factor, having a park factor of 114, meaning the park is 14% better for hitters, which definitely passes the eye test. This year, the Orioles' park factor is at 95, 5% below average, and all the way down to 94 for righties. If you know the Orioles, you might be surprised. Looking at the previous 3 years, Camden Yards was a haven for righties, especially for home runs. Unfortunately, most of these bombs were by their opponents, inflating the Orioles' ERA, though truthfully their pitching was not great anyway. So, with by far the worst pitching staff of the last 3 years, the Orioles took a slightly different approach to address their pitching problems. They pushed the left field fence back 26.5 feet and raised the fence by almost 6 feet. Sig Mejdal hinted at the fact that stats were a big part in this decision. And when you look at the data, it makes sense. In the last 3 seasons, had the change been implemented, the Orioles would lose 47 home runs, but also manage to protect 89 from leaving the yard, a ridiculous 42 home run swing, which, with an average of 1.57 runs per home run, would gain the Orioles 66 runs in run differential over 3 years, or 22 runs saved per year. Sure, that barely makes a difference in the run differential of the 2021 Orioles, but it would push the Orioles in the right direction. So, has it worked? Well, as a team, the Orioles have lost 0.6 home runs per 9, a crazy 35% reduction in home runs. And with a team ERA that's about 1.5 runs lower than their last 3-year average, the pitching has definitely turned around this year. Though all the hitters might not be happy with the creative part, the Orioles have crazily somehow turned themselves into a playoff contender, while playing in by far the toughest division in the league. The hitting hasn't seen any major jumps this year, consisting of mostly the same players except Adley Rutschman, but still no one's over the 125 OPS plus mark. For comparison, the Yankees can roll out 5 hitters better than that. So truthfully, it's the Orioles' improved arms that have dragged this team, at least out of the basement of the league. And yeah, they've been helped by a literal wall. And when you split that into the pen and the starters, it's clear there isn't a difference between the two. Nah, I'm just kidding, the bullpen is now ballin'. 6 bullpen arms for the Orioles have thrown over 30 innings and have a sub-3 ERA. Not only that, 3 of their guys are comfortably starting their ERA with a 1. With a collection of almost every possible way to form a ragtag bullpen, these guys are doing great, none of which are somehow 30 years or older. The most well-known name here is Jorge Lopez, the Orioles All-Star pitcher this year. He's found success by dropping his four-seam fastball, once his most popular pitch, in favor of a sinker, which, compared with his absolute gas and a curveball opponents are only hitting .074 off, he's generated a ridiculous 60% ground ball rate and a 50% topped rate. Essentially, guys just can't put good contact on the ball. According to run value, which estimates how many runs above average are allowed per pitch, where negative is good for the pitcher and positive is bad for the pitcher, Lopez's sinker is not even close to Dylan Tate's sinker, which is by far the best pitch in this bullpen. Tate, who has dropped his cutter entirely in favor of more sliders and changeups, has managed to not get guys to elevate the ball at all. You might remember Carp's average launch angle of 25.3 degrees, which is optimal for hitters. So Tate's average launch angle of 1 degree does a great job of preventing hits from his opponents. Felix Bautista was named a minor league Orioles All-Star last year, so when he finally got his chance this year, the rookie featured fastballs touching 100 miles an hour and one of the nastiest splitters in the game, with a 64.7% K rate and a batting average of .08 against. This created a dirty combo, which even featured on Pitching Ninja. Ciano Perez and Keegan Aiken have settled in as the lefties holding down this pen, both utilizing effective four-seamers and complementing them with sliders. And though Perez has seen more success having higher velocity, both of them have been effective for this Orioles squad. The final reliever is Joey Crable, who has increased his changeup usage, pairing it successfully with his fastball, both having a run value of -6 or better. Truthfully, Crable isn't overpowering guys, rather he's been just keeping guys from hitting his stuff really well. All six have found a different formula for success. They don't just follow one formula to be good, rather they load up many different pitching arsenals and find different ways to get out. This is the art of pitching. So are the Orioles about to make the playoffs? When I first started making this video, the Orioles were barely above the Red Sox, 3 games behind and 2 teams to leapfrog for the last wildcard spot. Then they traded both Trey Mancini and their all-star closer Jorge Lopez. Now they're tied for the last wildcard spot. Even if we still don't know what's going to happen, I think it's safe to say that the Orioles aren't in the basement anymore. And yes, the wall is definitely helping to put the Orioles back into relevance, but so are these excellent bullpen arms, all with separate styles. So while the basic sabermetrics have clearly propelled the rise in strikeouts and the decline in balls in play, aka action, surprisingly, they've also managed to propel unique pitching styles and, of course, remodeling. I'll catch y'all next time. Go, 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 go.